back. I wasn't expecting Caitlin Clark to be coming back this early, but ESPN put out an article earlier this week kind of summing up. They was predicting Caitlin Clark to be back by August the 12th. Now, this just came out of the pipeline of the Indiana Fever front office. Let's pull it up right now.
You can argue this intelligently. No one person means as much to their league, whatever league it is, as Caitlin Clark means to the WNBA. And no person has done more for their league than what Caitlin Clark has done for the WNBA. Patrick Mahomes does not mean that much to the NFL. Steph Curry does not mean that much to the NBA. LeBron James does not mean that much to the NBA. She is a monster. When we look back on this, Caitlin Clark will be for the WNBA what Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were for the...
For weeks, the WNBA has been in a catastrophic freefall. Viewership numbers have cratered, ticket prices have imploded, and the league's newfound relevance vanished overnight. The entire collapse can be traced back to one single cause. Caitlin Clark was on the bench. But that nightmare may finally be over. The Indiana Fever just upgraded their superstar to a game-time decision, sending a shockwave of relief through the entire sport. This isn't just a player returning to the lineup. It's the return of the Golden Goose, and she's coming back to rescue a league that was teetering on the edge of irrelevance.
Caitlin effing Clark is a game-time decision. She is a game-time decision. She is, as far as I'm aware, someone said she's listed as questionable on the app. Someone said on the app she is listed as questionable. But she is a game-time decision, apparently. Look, if we're going to be honest, no, she's a game-time.
You can't tell me that the Caitlin Clark effect isn't real. You knew when news broke yesterday that Caitlin Clark was going to be out for a few weeks, that ticket prices were going to go down, but I never expected them to go down 71% for the rivalry game. I can't help but laugh because the first thing that I thought of when I saw this was a quote that we got last year from Angel Reese when she was talking about how people don't just watch the WNBA for Caitlin. They watch it because of her as well. Hate to say it, those numbers don't lie. They're watching because of Caitlin.
The numbers from Clark's absence are nothing short of devastating. Before her groin injury on July 15th, Indiana Fever games were a national spectacle, averaging a stunning 1.81 million viewers. The second she was off the court, that audience vanished. Viewership collapsed by 53% to just 847,000, a freefall that exposed a terrifying dependency. But the empty seats told an even more brutal story. When the Fever were set to face the Chicago Sky, a game that once commanded premium prices, the ticket market imploded. Prices cratered by 71%, with seats that were once $86 being sold for a humiliating $25. But that wasn't the whole story. Across the league, teams that had banked on her star power were left holding the bag. The Washington Mystics moved their game to a larger venue in Baltimore to accommodate the expected Clark mania, only to watch ticket prices nosedive from $41 to a measly $14. The league wasn't just missing its star, it was hemorrhaging money, relevance, and credibility with every game she missed.
Caitlin Clark may be back, and that will leave a run of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games left to get ready for the playoff run. Right now, you're looking at the Atlanta Dream, or you're looking at the Phoenix Mercury, which should be very interesting considering all the plots around that.
Fever Sky tickets dropped 71% on TickPick after Caitlin Clark injury. The get-in price for the Chicago Sky versus Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever game was $86. After Caitlin Clark's injury announcement is now down to $25. And you Angel Reese fangirls will still believe and think that Angel Reese is the reason why people are watching the WNBA.
It's not just about viewership, it's about a financial empire built on the shoulders of a single rookie. Sports economists have projected Clark's economic impact could reach a staggering $1 billion this season alone. Her presence instantly added an estimated $340 million to the Fever's franchise value. transforming a middling organization into the league's most valuable property overnight. The Caitlin Clark effect ignited a merchandising firestorm, with Dick's Sporting Goods reporting a 233% increase in WNBA sales, and Fanatics seeing a surge of over 500%. Clark is now one of the top-selling athletes across all sports, ranking 6th among all basketball players, including NBA legends. This financial explosion makes her reported $28 million Nike deal look shrewd, and her $76,000 WNBA salary look like a rounding error. It highlights the massive, almost impossible disconnect between what the league can afford to pay her and what she is actually worth.
I think we're on the verge of seeing Caitlin Clark become bigger than the sport herself. WNBA viewing attendance is up over 200% since she joined the league. The Indiana Fever actually are outselling the Pacers, averaging over 17,000 attendance per game. That's crazy. $1 billion is the estimated increase in WNBA valuation based on Caitlin Clark alone. $1 billion. Now, this is up about 25% from the total economic value. Crazy to see these kind of numbers. I think we're on the verge of seeing something like MJ Tiger, where the average consumer goes to the TV because of somebody.
Now, if you're wondering about Odyssey, she is a guard, 5'8". She's a veteran, 33 years old. This is interesting. She's been an all-star. She's also was 2019 All-WNBA. 2014 All-Rookie Team. She's had some good seasons in here, folks. No, she doesn't have a great history with the three-point shot. But if Caitlin Clark is coming back...
This financial shockwave wasn't just felt in Indianapolis. It created ghost towns where sold-out arenas were expected. Teams like the Las Vegas Aces, Atlanta Dream, and Chicago Sky all made the strategic decision to move their home games against the Fever to larger NBA venues, anticipating record-breaking crowds. It was a brilliant move until their main attraction disappeared. These organizations were suddenly faced with logistical nightmares and cavernous, half-empty arenas that echoed with the sound of lost revenue. The preseason exhibition game in Iowa, her old stomping grounds, became the most expensive ticket in WNBA history, with resale prices soaring past $1,750. Her absence proved that she isn't just a draw for the Fever, she is the draw for the entire league, and every other team's financial strategy has been built around her. While the rest of the league scrambled to deal with the fallout, her own team was fighting for its life.
Caitlin Clark's agent, Aaron Kane, said Caitlin will never be paid what she's worth by the WNBA because it is quite literally impossible for them to pay her what she's worth. An economist at Indiana University Columbus calculated that Caitlin Clark was responsible for $36 million in economic impact to the city of Indianapolis, and that she is responsible for 27% of the entire WNBA's economic activity for this past season, including attendance, merchandise sales, and television. One player in a big league responsible for 27% of the economic.
Back in Indiana, the Fever were operating in full-blown crisis mode. Already reeling from the loss of Clark, the team was hit with a double blow when both of their backup point guards, Ari McDonald and Sydney Colson, suffered season-ending injuries. The front office was forced to scramble, signing 12-year veteran Odyssey Sims to an emergency hardship contract just to field a team. In the face of this adversity, the team showed incredible heart. Kelsey Mitchell stepped up magnificently, morphing into a primary ball handler and floor general. Aaliyah Boston became an unstoppable force in the paint, posting video game-like shooting percentages. They managed to dismantle the Chicago Sky with only 9 available players, a testament to their grit. But everyone in that building understood the uncomfortable truth. This was borrowed time. They were plugging a hole in a dam that was about to burst. They could survive without Clark, but they couldn't thrive, and they certainly couldn't contend for a championship.
Being active and playing 4 games and then not, and not feeling the best, and then frustrated of how hard I worked in the off season, and then all I do is rehab and continue to do this process. and just like trying to trust that the best I can. And obviously there's really frustrating days, and there's days where like it's a little bit easier and like you're very, very motivated and like you're close to the finish line of getting back and being back. And then like, it's not like I have a training camp to like build up to like playing my first game again. It's like, no, like you're tossed into game 30, like go try to play well. Like it's hard. Like,
But holding the fort on the court was one thing. Battling the pressure off of it was another war entirely. In a recent podcast with Sue Bird, Clark pulled back the curtain on the immense psychological toll of being the league's savior. She admitted to feeling an overwhelming responsibility of being out there and playing, fully aware that viewership and ticket sales live and die with her health. The pressure isn't just about winning games, it's the crushing weight of knowing that jobs, revenue, and the trajectory of women's basketball rests on her shoulders. Her mother's text message during this latest injury offered a rare glimpse into her private struggle. "You've taken so much time for everybody else, you have to take time for yourself now." She described the unique challenge of her situation, stating, "It's not like I have a training camp to build up to playing my first game again. It's like, no, you're tossed into game 30. Go try to play well." This isn't a normal injury recovery. It's a superstar learning to carry an entire ecosystem.
Now, Caitlin Clark just helped deliver a major statement win. On Saturday, June 14, Caitlin Clark returned to the court for the Indiana Fever after missing 5 games due to a quad injury. The Indiana Fever handed the New York Liberty their first loss of the season, and Caitlin Clark was at the center of it. She made a return with force, leading the charge on both ends of the floor, and she came back in dominant fashion, putting up 32 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds. Just shy of a 30-point triple-double in a 102-88 win over the New York Liberty. Now, even NBA's own LeBron James took notice, posting the CC effect.
And that pressure is about to be amplified because her return is timed with a high-stakes negotiation that could define the league for a generation. In 2026, the WNBA's new media rights deal, valued at an estimated $2.2 billion, will be finalized with partners like ESPN and NBC. Both networks are betting their investment not on the league as it was, but on the league as it can be with Clark at the center. Every game she plays, every ratings point she generates, is now an audition for that monumental payday. A healthy and dominant Clark proves their investment is sound. A sidelined Clark gives networks leverage. Her return isn't just for a playoff run, it's to secure the financial foundation of the WNBA for the next decade. While executives and networks are celebrating, there's a different tension brewing in locker rooms across the country.
Caitlin Clark continues to crush the viewership department and bring in those big ratings. This is from ESPN PR. This past Sunday, ABC aired another of its most watched WNBA games ever with the Indiana Fever's win over the Dallas Wings. It averaged 2.1 million viewers and peaked at 2.5 million viewers. WNBA on ESPN is up 7% from last season, man. What? The numbers are crazy. The numbers are crazy. She's a draw.
Her absence exposed the league's most uncomfortable truth. The WNBA's recent explosion in popularity isn't a collective success story. It's the Caitlin Clark show, and everyone else is a supporting character. For weeks, other players got a terrifying glimpse of what the world looks like without her: smaller crowds, less media attention, and a return to the quiet indifference the league fought for decades to overcome. Now, as she returns, they are faced with a stark reality. Their relevance, their future salaries, and their place in the sports world are inextricably tied to her performance. A house of cards has been built, and her health is the foundation. This has created an unspoken war, a psychological battle where every opponent isn't just trying to beat the Fever, they're fighting for their own piece of the spotlight she commands.
Have not seen Caitlin Clark since the beginning of July. A lot of people have predicted her to be out around the end of August, but this is a great update, seeing that she could possibly play tomorrow, going up against Paige Beckers. Now, we know they have been having this crazy narrative about Paige and Caitlin, Paige being better. Everything will be put to bed tomorrow. I pray Caitlin plays.
As if the stakes weren't high enough, Clark's return isn't against just any opponent. It's a collision course with her biggest rival, Paige Beckers. Throughout Clark's absence, a narrative has been simmering, a debate raging in comment sections and on sports shows. Is Buckers the real heir to the throne? Is she the more complete player, destined for greater long-term success? This game isn't just about 2 points in the standings, it's a battle to silence the noise and settle the score. It's a chance for Clark to step back onto the court and immediately reassert her dominance, putting to bed the argument that her reign was ever in question. This is more than a game, it's a direct challenge for narrative supremacy in women's basketball.
2.1 million average viewers to watch the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark, take on the Dallas Wings. ABC airs another of its most watched WNBA games ever. WNBA games ever. Ever. Ever, ever, forever, ever, forever, ever. ABC's fourth most watched WNBA game ever. More than 120 regular season and postseason games. More than 120 regular season and postseason games. This is more than most WNBA finals games, including last year.
Clark isn't just returning to a basketball court, she's walking into a lion's den. The very league that desperately needs her for survival is also filled with players who now have a massive chip on their shoulder. The panic her absence caused has had time to curdle into resentment. Every player she faces wants to be the one to prove the league is more than just Caitlin Clark. They want to prove they can shut her down, to show the world that the hype is overblown. This sets the stage for an unprecedented level of physical and psychological warfare. Every hard foul, every aggressive defensive stand will be seen as a message. She's returning from a delicate soft tissue injury into a league that is more hostile and has more to prove against her than ever before. So as Caitlin Clark steps back onto the court, she's not just playing a basketball game. She's staring down her greatest rival, shouldering the championship hopes of her team, and carrying the billion-dollar valuation of her league. She is walking into an arena where every opponent sees her as a target, a symbol they need to tear down to build their own legacy. Her return will shatter viewership records and put the WNBA back in the spotlight, but the celebration is underpinned by a deep-seated anxiety. The league has its golden goose back, but her absence proved just how fragile their newfound success really is. Is this the beginning of a sustainable era, or is it a spectacular bubble, destined to pop the next time its singular superstar is forced to rest?